Hey everybody, welcome back to Good Cooking. My name is Chris, and today I have a recipe that I think you're gonna like. If you're like me, if you're like most Americans, if you're like most anybody in the world, a warm loaf of bread is just something that just sends tingles down your spine and gets you all kinds of excited. I am gonna make for you today a loaf of bread at home. Now, this is the simplest loaf of bread you've ever seen. It was developed in 2006 by a guy named Mark Bittman and another gentleman. If you know the name Mark Bittman, if you have cookbooks, if you're a cookbook hoarder like I am, Mark Bittman writes a ton of cookbooks. This is a recipe that he and another gentleman developed for the New York Times, and it was printed in the paper back then in 2006. They've been developing it prior, to that, but that's when it was published. And so it's not my recipe. I do make my own little tweaks to it sometimes, like to add herbs once in a while. But I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration on how to put it together. You'll be surprised how simple it is. It is basically 5 minutes of assembling ingredients. There's no kneading in this at all. You just let it proof, and then tomorrow you get to bake it, because you will need to let it sit for about 12 to 24 hours to proof and to ferment and let that kind of sourness kind of take hold of the dough. So we're gonna make that today. I've got a batch of dough I started yesterday, which is ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna try to put the ingredients together for this first one with the demo batch here, which I will then get to bake tomorrow. You'll get to see how so simple and easy it is to be able to make fresh bread at home. Oh, isn't that the dream of everybody who loves bread, is to be able to just get fresh bread out of your own oven, let it cool, slab of butter on there, let it melt. I'm very excited about getting the bread in the oven. So first things first, we need 3 cups of flour. Now you can use AP flour, or you could use bread flour for this as well. Since we're not going to be kneading this dough, we're not going to be moving it around a lot and developing the protein in the bread. They perform pretty much the same way. I've got AP flour here, but you can use bread flour as well. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in 1 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. Now, if you have instant yeast at home, I will leave a conversion down below to use instant yeast instead of the active dry yeast like I'm using, but they are pretty much interchangeable, so this shouldn't be a big deal. So I'm going to add that in. Then I'm going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons, and I'm being very specific about this because baking is much more scientific than it is, kind of feel your gut. So I'm adding in the salt now, one teaspoon, another 1/2 teaspoon. So 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Then I'm going to make a well. After I mix that up a little bit, and we're going to do 1 1/2 cups of warm water. So all we want to do now is just mix that into our dough. We're not working it hard. We just want to mix it up with a spoon into a dough. And once that's all come together, this has taken me maybe, 20, 30 seconds at this point. And now I have my dough, and that's it. And that's all we need. We're going to take this now, and we're going to put this into a clean, fresh bowl. I'm going to take a piece of plastic wrap, and I'm going to cover this and get the wrap out. And I'm going to let this sit overnight for about 12 to 24 hours is what you want, at least. And what that does is that lets that yeast ferment a little bit with the water. It's a little bit warm in there. I'm going to sit this on a counter, just kind of out of the way. It doesn't have to be a warm area. It should be room temperature. I'm going to leave this for, like I said, 16 hours or so. So now this one is the one that I did yesterday, and I set this up. I made this recipe at about 4 o'clock yesterday, so it's been 20 hours now that this has been going for a minute. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna process this one, and we're gonna bake this one off today. So you get to see the process and you get to watch me taste it. Sorry. So before we get this started, I'm gonna grab a piece of parchment paper, because this is gonna help make my life easier when it's time to come and bake this. I'm gonna lay this, I'll put it right here on the side for now, just so it's ready when I am. All right, so parchment paper's there. I've got a little bit of extra flour. I've just got a couple tablespoons of flour here. I'm gonna put on my cutting board, my work surface, so that when I pull this out, it's gonna be sticky. It's gonna be a little bit moist, and I wanna make sure that it doesn't stick to everything, because I just wanna kind of shape it now once I pull it out. I've got my hands, a little bit of flour there. So again, it doesn't stick to me too badly. Now I'm just gonna take this. Right here. And now all I wanna do is just a little flour on top so it's easy to work with, it doesn't stick. I just want to shape it now. And I'm not going to work it. All I want to do is just get it into a nice shape. And that's it. That's all I did. So I'm going to take this now. I'm going to put it on the parchment paper like so. So now that this is done, I'm going to take it, and this is what the parchment's for. So it's easy for me to just move it from place to place. I'm gonna put it back in a bowl. I'm going to cover it again in plastic wrap because I want it to proof a little bit. And what this last proof will do for about 30 minutes is it will, and these newfangled parchment or plastic wrap cutters are a pain. And I'm gonna cover it, keep it from drying out. So you can see what I'm doing, just like so. And what we're gonna do is let that proof, and what that second proof is gonna do is gonna make it so that the holes on the inside, the gas kind of builds up, leaves those nice holes in the center. So it's nice light bread. It'll be crispy on the outside and soft and airy on the inside. So this now is going to sit for about 30 minutes, just again at a room temperature place. I will come back in 30 minutes and we will bake it off. So we're going to turn the oven on to 450 degrees, and we're going to add in our Dutch oven to heat up with it. Now the Dutch oven is what you need to make this bread get nice and crisp, and it's that Dutch oven with the lid that helps seal that heat, the steam inside, and give it a nice crust. So I'm going to take this Dutch oven now, I'm going to throw it in the oven. It's empty. I'm going to throw it in the oven and let that heat to 450 degrees. And once that's preheated to 450, we are ready to go. It's now time to place the dough inside. If you're using the parchment paper, and I really recommend that you do, because it makes the process quick and easy for getting the dough in and out, you can leave that in the pot as well. We're going to bake that for 30 minutes and then remove the lid. We're then going to bake that for an additional 20 minutes, which is how the bread will get its beautiful golden brown color. And our bread is done. Oh, beautiful. All right. Pull this out. We're going to get it on a rack, let it cool. Oh, that looks amazing. Smells even better. Full transparency. It is now a day later than when I started shooting this video. So the bread that you saw me put in the oven yesterday, it did not come out. Now, it wasn't for the recipe. It was because my oven, when I put it in the oven, it turned off. So that bread never baked. It did bake eventually, but I had to turn the oven back on. But by then, it was a little bit too late. I didn't get the color on it. It baked up great. There was just no color on it, so it didn't look great. So I decided we'll reshoot this morning, this last scene. And what I used here is the same dough that we made earlier in this video, the one that I was demoing for you guys. That's this dough right here. So that's the actual one that we used. So kind of a good thing that you guys get to see the actual bread that we made being baked here. It's a pain in my butt because it took me 2 days to film this video, which wasn't in my schedule, but you know, so be it. So that said, this is the actual bread that we made yesterday. So I'm gonna pull it off here now. So let it cool for a little bit. We'll come back and slice them up and take a look. But I mean, I'm telling you, oh, the house smells so good right now, and wow, it's just beautiful. All right, so we've let it cool. Let's go ahead and cut into it, see what we think. So the one that I did make yesterday, I did eat it. It was really good. It just didn't have that beautiful brown color like this one does. Oh, look at that crust. That looks so good, doesn't it? Good crust on the outside, nice chew on the inside. A little bit yeasty, not too much. A touch of sour, but not too much as well. And that's from that ferment that it did overnight. But wow, really good. So there you go. A bread for everybody. So simple to make. I spent maybe 2 minutes putting ingredients together. I spent, you saw yourself, 2 minutes mixing it up. I let it sit overnight. Threw it in the oven, 450 for 30 minutes in a Dutch oven. 20 minutes with the lid off and get a beautiful color on it. So nice to be able to have fresh bread in the house. Definitely a bread that the novice can make. So if you're into baking, if you love bread like I do, give this one a shot. And if you try it, leave me a message in the comments. Let me know what you thought, how it came out for you. If you've got any questions, I'm gonna make this again today. I'm gonna toss some rosemary in it. Brush a little olive oil before it goes in the oven. That's just kind of my variation. I want to show you guys kind of the basic recipe on how to get it done. But if you want to add, herbs or spices or whatever you want to this as well, you can make your own variations out of this very simple bread recipe. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like on your way out. If you try the recipe, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks and bye for now.